Alright, let's start by taking a look at number 3. And number 3 tells us that g of x is equal to this piecewise function, where it's the inverse sine of x when x is between 1 and 0, and it's this quadratic x squared plus ax plus b for x less than 0. And we want to find the values of a and b so that g is differentiable at x equals 0. Well, the first thing it needs to be, if it's differentiable, is it needs to be continuous. So what we need to do is we need to find the inverse sine of 0, and that equals 0 squared plus a times 0 plus b. Right, all I did was I substituted 0 in for x. So 0 squared is 0, a times 0 is 0. It leaves me with b on the right hand side. And the inverse sine of 0 is 0. You can check that in your calculator if you like. Think about 0 degrees. Cosine is 1, sine is 0. So it's 0. So well, now we know that b is equal to 0, and that's going to make this thing continuous, so that at 0, each of those pieces match up. Now we need to worry about the differentiable part. We need to take the derivative of each of these things. So we've got the inverse sine of x, and I'm going to say that equals y. And we've got, and I'm going to say the other y is this quadratic, x squared plus ax plus b. The quadratic, real easy to find the derivative of. 2x plus a.
If Logan Krishka is still in the building, can you please go to Mrs. Spetz's room? Thank you.
Yes, Logan, if you're still in the building, go to Mrs. Spetz's room. Now, if we let x equals 0 here, we get y prime equals a. Over here, we're going to have the sine of y equals x. We take the derivative of each side, and we get the cosine of y times y prime equals 1. Well, if I take this sine of y equals x and I draw my little reference triangle, sine is opposite over the hypotenuse. There's my angle. So that makes this the square root of 1 minus x squared. So y prime here is equal to 1. Hang on just a second. Alright, well, let's see here now. I had y prime equals 1 over, this is going to be the cosine of y. So y prime is going to equal 1 over adjacent over the hypotenuse, which is 1, so that's 1 over the square root 1 minus x squared. And over here, I have y prime equals a. So 1 over 1 minus x squared equals a. The square root of that equals a. Now remember, we're still letting x equal 0. So I have 1 over 1 equals a, so that means that a equals 1, and from before b equals 0. Right? Continuity and then differentiability. Continuity, set the two pieces equal to each other, solve for the one variable. Differentiability, take the derivative of each, set the derivatives equal, solve. That's all you need to do there. Let's move on to number 8. Number 8 is the cost of producing x units, and it's given by this cost function. C of x equals 22 times the square root x plus 10. That's the cost function for whatever we're making. I'm going to rewrite this 22 times x plus 10 to the 1/2 power. Now, part A says define and interpret C of 90 and C prime of 90. Well, C of 90 is the cost of producing 90 units. That equals 22 times 100, no, times 90. Plus 10, that makes 100. Raised to the 1/2 power, square root of 100 is 10, times 22 is 220. So the cost of producing 90 units is 220. Now, C prime of 90, we got to find C prime. C prime of x is going to equal 22 as a constant. And then we have to take the derivative of what's in the parentheses up here. We bring down the 1/2. Leave what's inside the parentheses alone. And then subtract 1. So we've got to the negative 1/2 power. Now, C prime of 90, 22 times 1/2 is 11, times 90 plus 10. It's still 100. Raised to the negative 1/2 power, square root of 100 is 10. The negative, though, puts that 10 in the denominator. So C prime of 90 is 11 over 10, and that's the rate of change in the cost of producing X items when X equals 90. It's a rate of change in cost. That's part A. Now, part B says to find A of X, the average cost. Well, average cost is total cost divided by how many things you're making. And that would be X units. Well, 22 times X plus 10 to the 1/2 power over X. That's the average cost function. Yes, that's really all there is to that. (22 times X plus 10 to the 1/2 power over X). That's part B. Now, part C asks the question, is the average price, or is the average cost per unit increasing or decreasing when X equals 90? Now, whenever they're asking if something is increasing or decreasing, you should be thinking, I have to take a derivative. And they're talking about average cost. So average cost is 22 times X plus 10 raised to the 1/2 power over X. So we're going to take the derivative, A prime of X. Quotient, we're going to use quotient rule. So we've got ho, d high, well, this is 11 times X plus 10 to the negative 1/2. We did that up in part A. Minus high, d ho, the derivative of X is 1, and this is all over X squared. So that's A prime. Now, A prime of 90. So we're going to substitute in 90 for X. So we got 90 times 11 times 100 to the negative 1/2 power minus 22 times 10 all over 90 squared. Now, when you do that, you're going to get negative 0.0149. Now, the average cost is decreasing because A prime of 90 is negative, less than 0. Okay. I hope this helps you out. And if you need more explanation, let me know. And good luck. Have fun. See you tomorrow.